James Samuel Jimmy Jam Harris III and Terry Stephen Lewis are an American R&B songwriting and record production team. They have enjoyed great success since the 1980s with various artists, most notably Janet Jackson. They have written 31 top 10 hits in the UK and 41 in the US. History: Jimmy Jam is the son of Cornbread Harris, a Minneapolis blues and jazz musician. Jimmy Jam met Lewis while in high school in Minneapolis. They did not meet in class, however, but while attending a trio Upward Bound program on the University of Minnesota campus. They formed a band called Flight Time, which evolved into The Time. In 1981, they were joined by Morris Day and toured with Prince as his opening act. As members of The Time, they recorded 3 of the group's 4 albums. The first 2 albums are said to have shaped early 1980s R&B music. In 1982, Jimmy Jam and Terry Lewis were introduced to the music executive Dinah R. Andrews, who was then an employee of Dick Griffith's Solar Records, where they would be mentored by record producer Leon Silvers III. The pair asked Andrews to manage them, and through her relationships Andrews first introduced Jam and Lewis to music executive Clarence Avant. They produced their first masters for Avant for the SOS Band. Andrews set up Jam and Lewis's company Flight Time Productions as a business entity, and continued shopping them to her other record executive colleagues. The producers went on to produce several other masters for Avant under Dinah Andrews' management for the SOS Band, Cheryl, Alexander O'Neal and Change. Additionally, Andrews shopped the duo to many of the executives and artists who used their services, such as Clem Orch, Cheryl Lynn, and executives such as John McClain, Clive Davis, Sylvia Rhone, and Warner Chappell. The pair was fired by Prince from a tour after a blizzard left them unable to rejoin during a short break to produce music for the SOS Band. However, one of the tracks they were producing, Just Be Good to Me, became a hit and sealed the duo's reputation, as well as that of the SOS Band. The duo would rejoin The Time for 2 albums, 1990's Pandemonium and the 2011 album Condensate under the name The Original 7 Then. The duo was noted for early use of the Roland Trail 808 drum machine in English-language popular music, which was used in most of its productions. After working with other artists such as Cheryl and Alexander O'Neal, Jam and Lewis were introduced to Janet Jackson and produced her breakthrough album Control in 1986, for which the duo won a Grammy Award. Their collaboration on her next album, 1989's Rhythm Nation 1814, proved even more successful as the album became one of the top-selling albums in history with 5 #1 hits. In 1991, they founded a record label, Perspective Records. Later that year, their newly minted label experienced success with a Minneapolis-based gospel R&B collective of artists known as Sounds of Blackness. Their debut single, Optimistic, served as a groundbreaking anthem stressing positivity and encouragement. The song served as a summer and fall anthem and began propelling Jam and Lewis' new boutique label towards the top. Other successes followed with Blackness as well as music from labelmates Min Condition, Low Key, and Solo. A highlight for Perspective was the opportunity to release the soundtrack for the 1992 motion picture Mo Money, which starred Damon Wayans, Stacey Dash and Marlon Wayans. Executive produced by Jam and Lewis, the soundtrack featured cuts from Min Condition, Ralph Desvant and Karen Wheeler, as well as a duet by Janet Jackson and Luther Vandross. In an illustrious career that has spanned more than 3 decades, Jam and Lewis have worked with artists such as Herb Alpert, TLC, Sounds of Blackness, Yolanda Adams, Jordan Knight, Michael Jackson, Boyz II Men, Usher, Johnny Gill, Mary J. Blige, Mariah Carey, Prince, Spice Girls, Vanessa Williams, George Michael, Melanie B., Rod Stewart, Kelly Price, Gwen Stefani, New Edition, Eric Beenet, Pia Zadra, Solo, and The Human League. In 1999, he produced the hit Open My Heart by Yolanda Adams, which helped her popularity. Terry Lewis married R&B singer Karen White, with whom he had a daughter, Ashley Nicole Lewis. The pair has since divorced. He later married Indira Singh and had 2 children, Talon and Tiara. Jimmy Jam served as chairman of the board of the National Academy of Recording Arts and Sciences. He is currently listed as Chairman Emeritus. In 2005, Jam and Lewis opened their new recording studios in Santa Monica, California, naming it Flight Time West. In 2006, they won a Grammy for Yolanda Adams' song Be Blessed, from her 2005 album Day by Day. In 2007, Jam and Lewis produced the two-time Grammy Award-winning CD Funk This for Chaka Khan, which included the award-winning R&B duet Disrespectful, with Mary J. Blige. The production duo recently reunited with The Time at the 50th Grammy Awards on February 10, 2008 in a medley that included the artist Rihanna, and featuring Jungle Love. In June and July 2008, all of the original members of The Time reunited once again for a series of shows at the Flamingo Hotel and Casino in Las Vegas. Jam and Lewis worked on Ruben Studdard's album, Lovers, as well as Johnny Gill's 2011 album Still Winning. Their most recent hits as producers were Pure Gold from Earth, Wind and Fire's 2005 album Illumination, and Higher Than This from Ledis's 2009 album Turn Me Loose. Discography, list of songs produced by Jimmy Jam and Terry Lewis. Charts, Jam and Lewis have more Billboard number ones than any other songwriting and production team in history. They have produced 16 Billboard Hot 100 number one hits, and 26 Billboard R&B number one hits. They are among a handful of producers to have number one records in 3 consecutive decades, with number ones in the 1980s, 1990s, and 2000s. They have had 41 songs reach the top 10 of the Billboard Hot 100, and 31 in the top 10 in the UK. Billboard Hot 100 number 1 second equals, Janet Jackson, When I Think of You, Miss You Much, Escapade, Love Will Never Do, That's the Way Love Goes, Again, Together Again, Doesn't Really Matter, All for You. The Human League Human, George Michael Monkey, Karen White Romantic, Boys to Men, On Bended Knee, 4 Seasons of Loneliness. Mariah Carey Thank God I Found You, Usher You Remind Me. Awards. Since forming their music company Flight Time in 1982, Jam and Lewis have earned more than 100 gold, platinum, multi-platinum and diamond albums for their work with such artists as Janet Jackson, Michael Jackson, Boyz II Men, Usher, Mary J. Blige, Mariah Carey, Luther Vandross, Yolanda Adams, Herb Alpert, New Edition, Human League, George Michael, Earth, Wind and Fire, TLC, Robert Palmer, Gwen Stefani and Kanye West. They have more than 100 ASCAP songwriting and publishing awards, including several Songwriter of the Year awards. In 1993, Jam and Lewis were nominated with Janet Jackson for an Academy Award for Best Original Song for Again, from the movie, Poetic Justice. Grammy Awards Jam and Lewis have won 5 Grammy Awards. They have received the most nominations for Producer of the Year, with 11 nominations. They won the award in 1987 at the 29th Grammy Awards, in the very first year they were nominated. References. External links: Flight Time Productions, soulmusic.com, BBC interview, May 2005, 1, French, Le Groupe Soul R&B.com. Consacre copyright Jimmy Jam and Terry Lewis.